It's the moment you've all been waiting for, the American supercar, the V6 that outperforms many V12s. Multimatic sequel to the supercar that took not only one, not two, but 3 podium spots in '66 Le Mans.
This is a remarkable result.
The first of its kind in all of Canada, ladies and gentlemen, the Ford GT Mark II. This is serial number 9 of 45, which is now playing the role of world's fastest painting here at Canada's Science and Technology Museum in Ottawa. And you can see it until May 31st. 55 years after 1966's Le Mans, Ford is offering 45 units to take you on a wild ride down memory lane. Looking at this halo car that lures you into the Ford dealership and has you leaving with a Mustang, you've got to wonder why they've ever stopped. After 2005, new federal regulations would have forced the GT to raise their headlights, making it look like a bug-eyed Sprite.
This car's really something.
Ford preferred to put the project on ice rather than continue producing an ugly supercar. This shows some real maturity from the company that once produced the Scorpio and the Festiva.
It's a Ford, it's a Festiva.
Special editions of the Ford GT have been making appearances since '05, and on July 4th, 2019, the UK's Goodwood Festival of Speed premiered what you see here, the most expensive new Ford ever sold. $1.2 million will buy you this 700 horsepower V6. Intuitively, you might think a car this sleek comes with a V8, a V10, or a V12 like a Lambo or Ferrari would, but this GT chugs along with a V6 3.5-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost. Let's be honest, it's a derivative of the Ford F-150 engine, but that's not a bad thing. This motor has a base that's been tried, tested, and true in the #1 selling pickup in America. The 200 horsepower increase over the race version is achieved by mods such as gallery-cooled pistons, higher energy ignition coils, and a Hefner performance exhaust system. All of this high energy is kept from critical failure thanks to improvements with airflow and cooling. The new intercoolers are 35% larger than the GT road car. It houses an automatic spray nozzle with atomizer water jet system to keep the engine cool all the time. The vacuum cleaner looking roof air scoop gives the engine bay the fresh air it needs. Freedom is something that dies unless it's used. Hunter S. Thompson said that. And with that in mind, the Ford GT Mark II is a celebration of life. You would think this is a toned down version of a race car, but it isn't. Balance of performance, or BOP, is the principle they apply in governing racing that limits the amount of horsepower you can tune for. It ensures that all cars in the same class are physically able to run about the same lap times. To give you a quick example of balance of performance, the Ford GT that raced Le Mans in 2019 was tuned down to 495 horsepower. The 2019 road car is tuned up to 650 horsepower, and this one is over 700 horsepower. Now, that GT that ran Le Mans will probably get you better lap times, but on a straightaway, this Mark II's G-force will bring you closer to God. It's got louvered front fenders to help cut through the air like a katana, which Le Mans outlaws. The Evo splitter, the flicks on the front, and the diplanes all contribute to giving you 400 or 500 more pounds of downforce than the road car. It's like having a sumo wrestler sitting on your rear to keep you glued to the track. The Mark II boasts to be able to produce 2 Gs of lateral grip. If you're experiencing double the gravity you normally would, does that mean that GT Mark II can slow down time for you when you're riding fast? The Mark II's fixed dual-element rear wing with extra-large side plates keeps your buttress low to the floor. Under the wing is the diffuser. When you're driving, the wind coming out from under shoots up to help you drive the wing. Brilliant! Your excess hot air drives you forward in the Mark II, just like my hot air does for me. Rounding out the new Mark II's package are the Michelin Pilot Sport GT Slick non-treaded racing tires. They sit on 19-inch wheels, 1 full inch above regulation race tires for bigger revolutions. It uses carbon ceramic brakes from the road car, rather than the steel brakes from the Le Mans race car. Unlike the present road model, it isn't street legal, which castrates the need for the ride height adjust system. You sit permanently at 2.75 inches. The absence of the hydraulics for the ride adjust system, as well as the stripped down interior, saves you a whopping 200 pounds in weight compared to the 2017 Road Edition. You do sacrifice AC though, so get ready for your temperature to run a little high during heat waves. If you take the passenger seat option as a two-seater, the GT forces you to feel like you're on a third date with whoever you're driving, as the car wants all passenger weight concentrated in the middle. The Sparco race seats with 6-point harnesses are locked in, and it's the steering wheel and pedals that adjust. No leaning back for an afternoon snooze or late night loving. The car gods will be mad if you turn this vehicle into a motel on wheels. You pray you don't need, but will be glad you have, this FIA certified full roll cage. Normally in race cars, the steering wheel is all business, but this $30,000 rectangular race car steering wheel houses all the fun buttons from the road car. The dash has a Motec data acquisition display, which doubles as the rear camera screen. Sweet deal to be able to parallel park your race car. Looking around in here, this sort of looks like a jet cockpit, one of the GT's biggest charms. So, how do you get one? Exceptionally, these babies are sold directly to customers by Multimatic, a Canadian company.
Oh, Canada.
And not by Ford. And they're all sold out, so this video is designed for you to break the 9th commandment and covet, covet, covet. Ford was like the boy who got made fun of in gym class, bought himself a gym membership, and went sicko mode on the weights for 18 months. Taking the respect it now deserved, the Ford GT40 Mark II was born. Kind of makes you want to watch Ford versus Ferrari, doesn't it? The GT-driven Ford team made their historic 1-2-3 podium finishes 3 years before the moon landing in Le Mans in 1966, beating out many racing giants. Their dynasty was cemented when they won the 3 following years. 50 years later, they did it again in 2016, when Rushbrook's team edged the Ferrari 488 for a poetic victory over the Italians in the LMGTE Pro category. This Mark II is a commemorative monument for those victories. Chances are you'll never win the Super Bowl, and you'll never have the body of a football god. But you can have the chassis of a racing god. Being a race car driver is one of the only childhood dreams always within your grasp. The new Ford GT Mark II brings you one step closer to something more than just expensive thrills. It steers you around to a time when anything was possible at up to 217 miles per hour.